Um, it's time for Snatch Game. Uh, some off the wall choices for sure. Uh, I enjoyed Amelia Earhart, which surprised me. Also felt like a bizarre pick for Q, who I feel like is so quirky and then did like a very real person. You wanted Anna Sorokin, Anna Delvey, to be better. Yeah, I think there was definitely potential there. I mean, I had to look her up. I didn't watch Inventing Anna, so I had to Google her, which is how I found that if you Google her, her name comes up with her occupation as con artist underneath it, which really took me out. Yeah, definitely the potential if she has some weird fake accent, for the weird fake accent to be constantly evolving. The one thing I did like was trying to obscure the original answer with money and showing a different answer, being like, "Do you need more money? I have more money." You thought Q did well too. It was easy to play into. Yeah, like so random. Could so easily be not funny at all. And some of it is definitely editing, like they play laugh tracks over the stuff they want you to find funny, and they leave dead silence over things that they don't want you to find funny. And I always in the back of my mind am like, would this feel funny if people were laughing? And the answer is almost always yes. Like, editing makes things feel more awkward on purpose so that you're not shocked at who's in the bottom. Who would be good casting for House of Villains Season 2? Anna Delvey. They almost wanted a bottom 4 with Dawn in there too. You think Meghan McCain was just as bad? Interesting. I didn't feel that way. I thought there were some funny moments in it. I certainly thought that Dawn was writing checks her ass couldn't cash, in terms of being like, she's a trash goblin and I just want to have a good time. Her description of why she made the choice she made was funnier than anything she did in Snatch Game, to be fair. But again, that could also be editing. I didn't think it was bad. I certainly laughed sometimes. I was surprised Maya was in the top, because I thought Shaquita, whatever Trina's cousin's name was fine. And I think it is only because it was such a step up for her that she was in the top. But I didn't think it was actually that good. She just she was like, yeah, ass, and did like that same kind of a joke that wasn't even really a joke every time the question came to her. Which I thought was like good for her, but lame. Surprised Maya was in the top. I find the type of character is low-hanging fruit, like when Roxy played Tamar. I liked Tamar more, for sure. That definitely had some more like specificity to it versus generic made-up cousin of someone so that you get a general vibe, but it is literally just that vibe. Yeah, I mean, top 2, 100%. Yelena, whoever. Yeah, Plain Jane and Saphira, top 2, no question. But I thought Saphira should have won. I really enjoy. This is not related to Saphira. I do think Saphira should have won. Plain's win was overdue. Has she not won? I mean, she won the first week, I guess, but not since then. I really, really enjoy. I think the essence of a really good Snatch Game performance is if you can take someone that we don't know anything about and make them funny anyway. That's like the true success. Granted, I just want Saphira to win everything because I love Saphira. And I thought James Brown was such a good choice. And all of her answers were funny, and giving yourself the opportunity to sing is, when that's a talent that you have, is great. and I thought her runway was really, really good. There's no way Plane's giving away her immunity. Yeah, I don't think so. It feels very out of character for everything we've seen. Nymphia just wanted to bring up bananas and monkeys. Yeah, and this was the first time that it didn't work for her. Because I did think with, like, her quirkiness, she could make Jane Goodall work. And I also think it probably wasn't as unfunny as the show edited it to be. But I thought she was going to be at the bottom. I thought she was going to be lip syncing. Because I did think she and Morphine, there's so many M names, were the two weakest. Tsunami just wasn't really anything for me. I thought it was a good idea that definitely could have gone places in terms of being like the gold tooth fairy. Like like if you invert it and like you're bringing teeth to people because they need replacement for the teeth that they lost, that could be funny. The gold digger joke like almost went somewhere but then didn't. So it was like kind of disappointing, but I didn't think it was as bad as Nymphia and Morphine. But the lip sync was so good. The two of them, great. I was surprised Morphine won. I wasn't sure who it was going to be. And that's rare, that in the editing of the lip sync you can't tell who's going home. But I think they were challenged because they were playing off of each other so much that you couldn't just isolate and show the person who was going to win the whole time, which is what they usually do. I do think if Nymphia had been in the bottom, she wouldn't have gone home regardless, given her track record, because as much as they like to pretend that doesn't play into it in the moment, it definitely does. Yeah, I don't know. I had a great time with Saphira this week. I was really excited to see Chad Michaels show up. Great to have like an iconic Snatch Game person there for the Snatch Game like walkthroughs that are now come over to Rue, because Rue's not going to walk around a room anymore. You are not a theater gay, so you know of Patti LuPone, but not enough to know how to caricature her. I mean, okay. I thought it was fine. I thought choosing to do Patti LuPone, given everything else you've already done in this competition, is not showing range. It's playing to type and not doing it well enough for it to have been worth it. I've dealt with Patti LuPone, and she's not a nice lady. Like, she's a no-nonsense bitch who's, like, barely 5 feet tall, who can belt like nobody's business, who's been in every famous show on Broadway, I think. You think Barbara was her primary choice, but she didn't do Barbara because she'd already done Barbara, essentially. Maybe. It just felt like I didn't feel like her Patti was that specific. It felt like, yeah, Broadway diva, but I think of Patti LuPone as having dark hair, because she typically has like blunt bangs, short black bob, not the hair that Plasma was wearing. And she had the martini, and she was just constantly fucking stirring those olives, which I think was in reference to Company. And she did say, "I'll drink to that," which is a song that Patti LuPone sings in Company. I saw her in Company. But it felt more like generic Broadway diva to me than Patti LuPone specifically. From her intro, I was like, yeah, this is fine, but I could already tell what this is going to be, and it's not going to be funny to me. Like, maybe I'm too jaded, but, you know, I feel how I feel. Yeah, Saphira playing with Rue in the walkthrough. She should have done Lea Michele. I would have had to probably turn my TV off. I don't think I would have made it through. That probably would have been really funny. But I don't know if she could be mean enough about Lea Michele to make it funny. Done well, it could be really funny, but you kind of have to like hate Lea Michele a little bit, which isn't hard to do. But, oh, that's what it was. Her initial, like, intro answer when Rue introduced her. It was like, here's my Broadway resume. Like, let me just give you a paragraph off of Wikipedia because I know all these things about Broadway. And I was like, that's not how Patty talks. And it's not funny. It's just like spitting out knowledge that you have. How old is Plasma? Because it screams like recent college graduate to me. Plasma donation. Plasma drag queen. It's a difficult name to Google. Or to search because I'm literally not using Google. This fiery queen is RuPaul's Drag Race Unseen Hero. Collider publishes all sorts of garbage. A BFA wielding drag performer based out of New York City. I live here and I've never heard of Plasma. Sorry, not sorry. But I just want to know how old you are. 25. Yeah, okay. So you're a couple years out of school, but I would argue still largely in that like BFA mindset. Also, your BFA is from the University of Oklahoma. Listen, I have very conflicted, mostly negative feelings about having gone to NYU, but your BFA is not from NYU. So, also, she tap danced on the runway. Like, Tsunami said she was 6. Wait, that was so funny. Where were you on January 6th? And then Morphine being like, I don't get it. And Plasma being like, that was the day of the insurrection. Was one of the funniest moments of the episode. Oh, man. Yeah, no, that was really good. The reading challenge was, like, fine. It was fine. One of the best reads was Saphira's character shoes. What is going on? Did she bring one pair of shoes to Drag Race? I did like her kick in the Snatch Game, pushing back on Rue, being like, I don't have character shoes. I'm James Brown. I don't know who you're talking about from last week. That made me laugh really hard. But, girl, get some. Where's your other shoes? Put some shoes on. And you can't just put booties on the same, like booty covers on the same shoes every week. That's not, can't do it. But the story about her dad and how her dad came to her show. I was so proud and having such a good time. I was so excited. And then fucking died from COVID. Like, what a roller coaster. Her outfits took all her luggage space and no room for shoes. I don't know how people pack for Drag Race. Like, I don't know how people pack for drag to travel in general, but like, I can't fathom it. I travel very light. Partially out of necessity, given fucking checked bag fees and shit. But also because I don't want to be hauling a bunch of luggage all over the place. And I understand famous drag queens have assistants and teams and whatever, and they're not hauling suitcases anywhere. But like, I traveled heavy on my Europe trip, by which I mean I brought my laptop, which meant I had to bring a slightly bigger backpack than I otherwise would have. But like Costa Rica, I brought my same carry-on that I take everywhere and like a sling backpack that had nothing in it. That was more to have to carry around day to day on the trip rather than for the plane. Occasionally I'd done like crazy Europe flights where like you're only allowed one item on the plane, and so you have to put like the thing you would put under the seat into your suitcase. I don't know. Airlines have like weird fucking rules about bags and shit that don't make any sense to me. And it's all just about making you pay more money for stuff that used to be free. Once upon a time, I remember this. When you bought a plane ticket, you could bring suitcases on the plane because that tends to be part of flying on a plane. And you could pick your seat because you have to sit on the plane because you bought a ticket to be on the plane. And the fact that all of these things now cost more money, and they're like early boarding, extra room. Pick your seat. Bring a suitcase. Stop it. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. So from now on, I'm only taking flights where they're far enough away that they have to let you bring like a carry-on. Because now it's gotten worse. It used to be you could only bring a carry-on, no checked bags for free. And now there are flights where like they're going to charge you for a fucking carry-on. And then you'll be sitting at the gate and they're like, we're looking for volunteers to gate check your bag because we're not going to have enough cabin bin space. It's like, yeah, well, because no one's checking their bags because it costs fucking money. If you just let us check our bags, this wouldn't be a problem. Okay, that's my detour of a rant. I think we've talked about Drag Race, and I've now shared my feelings on airplanes out of nowhere. While I'm talking about airplanes, though, all of my worst pet peeves are aggravated by being on a plane in terms of like people putting their suitcases into the overhead bin sideways, people putting in jackets and little bags and bullshit that could go under their inevitably empty seat, like empty under seat space in front of them. As soon as they sit down, instead of waiting until everybody's put their suitcases in there, people getting up from the back of the plane when there's nowhere to fucking go as soon as the plane lands. So many things that I have to get on the plane, put my inevitably a carry-on into the bin, and then like close my eyes and not be aware of anything else happening because it makes me so angry. Planes have drag, so it's relevant. Very good, Amy. It's a science joke. A physics joke? Some kind of science. Oh, my glass looked cracked. It's a dog hair. Okay. We've been hanging out for almost an hour. I guess we'll play Persona. Let us start the game.